stream or StreamYard, I should say, which is my live stream. And while I'm doing that, I'm actually housing and saving a version of this video live stream content over on my YouTube channel. And I do that for two reasons. One, I save it there while I'm doing my live streaming. So it's actually, if you went over to my YouTube channel, which I guess I should show you, give me a link to my YouTube channel real quick. It's just kind of starting, but I'll get better, as is the case with anything. So I'm gonna bring up my YouTube channel. Let's see if it's gonna let me. Yeah, here it is. Okay. I'm going to just share my link real quick. But I'm live streaming to Facebook right now inside of our Facebook group, as well as I am live streaming to my YouTube channel. Now, while YouTube channel itself, for the most part, is not my primary vehicle right now. I kind of am doing what I call a hack, if you would. And my hack is, okay, here's my banner. Hold on, let me pop it over here to you guys real quick. I'll pop it into the chat too. Hold on, let me see if I can. There's a link in the chat. I don't think I have. Yeah, I'm just going to put it in the chat. You'll see it in the comments as well, okay? So here's the reason why I do it this way for my live streaming video content is I used to, when I was streaming right into the Facebook group or on my Facebook page, I'd have my VA go there and then save that, download that file, save it, and then we'd upload it over to YouTube and we'd store it over in the Google Drive, right? And yeah, that made sense when you didn't know any better. Now, when you know better, you do better. And what I found is my little hack is while I'm live streaming, I can push out that content to my YouTube channel and voila, the file is already sitting there in a private channel. So I don't have to go through that extra step of touching the video file. Now, remember, YouTube and Google are brothers and sisters in the Google land space. So in essence, it's still sitting even on the Google Drive, not my personal Google Drive, but on Google Drive on their back end and their big server size. So there's an opportunity there to do that as a hack. So for those of you who are doing some live streaming and you have that opportunity where it says your destinations, choose a YouTube channel and save it there. You can put it as a private list if you're not ready to use it for public consumption or anything, but at least it's there. Because a lot of my video files, I even use my StreamYard to create training videos. And again, because I can stream out there. Now, I do have other live streaming tools. We'll talk about that on another day, but that's a storage hack, if you would. So that's one way of looking at how you can save your video content in that way. So that's one. Now, the other thing is, let's step back a minute and think about the benefits of storing your video content, because I think it's important for everybody to understand that when you're live streaming and you're putting it into these social media platforms, it's not yours. So you have to always keep in mind about owning your content and saving it. Now, if you're just doing video recordings yourself, on your personal devices and then you're saving it, well then yeah, it's yours. You don't have anything to worry about. But once you start doing live streaming and you don't consciously have a means of saving your files, if they turn off your account one day or they just go down one day, all of your content is sitting out there on somebody else's site and you no longer have access to it. And that, my friend, is not a good place to be in. So I say that to say this: if you're going to spend the time to create content, then spend a little extra time and determine where is that content going to be stored, short-term or long-term. All right, so there's that. Now, a couple of things when you're thinking about storage, I want you to think about the fact that there are some benefits and also just some pros and cons as you start thinking about how do I want to look at storing content for that matter. So one of the things obviously is I want to talk about cost. There again is free versions of storing, and then there's places to store and share. So we're going to cover both of those and those two concepts. Um, the other thing to think about, of course, there is a cost. There are some free versions out there. We'll talk about. You also want to think about functionality. So again, if you simply want to worry about a place to store it and you're not looking to share the content, but just like I made it and I store it and I'll use it and embed in other places later, then that's one way of is the storing aspect. And I'll talk about some storing capabilities as well. The other thing to keep in mind is just the functionality of it. Is it going to be a place where you're going to be able to, most of these are all cloud-based, so let me also state that. But you also want to think about things like, well, can it synchronize and do things at the same time? Like automatically, if I do a file, can it sync it and put it someplace else? Do you have an ability of even editing that file if it's sitting up in that storage space? Or do I have to use another editing platform in order to make any changes that I want to see happen? And then the other one is just even restoring the video files and stuff. Do you have a means of functionality to be able to do those things? Those are kind of really the basics when it comes to functionality for storage for video content. The other item is just the space itself. So always keep in mind, you get what you pay for. So cloud space, usually for videos, is going to require quite a good bit of space. So your basic cloud space, again, are free. But if you need to have, or if you're producing lots of video content, you're going to need to probably pay for it at a premium or freemium type of a version, because you're going to need to house that. You'll max out on your space in short order. The other thing, obviously, is then security. Most places have a means to keeping your stuff secure, but you always want to check just to make doubly sure. And then the other thing is uploading restrictions. And here's something that people typically don't think about. I notice even sometimes when I want to take up a file, have you ever had this experience where you have like maybe it's just for a profile image and you want to upload it and it says your file is too big? You want to keep in mind about how the uploading restrictions may be, is because of the file sizes that they may be able to handle that throughput, we like to call it, when you are uploading those files themselves. So those are some of the key things as far as what are some of the things you want to ask yourself when it comes to looking at different storage locations. Now, keeping that in mind, let me just make sure. And of course, it should be something that's going to be accessible no matter where you go. So you should be able to easily access it, because again, these are all cloud-based. So simply logging into your account from a browser and then being able to upload and do all those other things, download and upload files, whatever you want to be able to do. So those are some of the key things when it comes to selecting a storage file. So that being said, let's answer this first question. How to choose your video storage service. Now, again, I just covered that part, but more importantly, it's the best of those free storage cloud services, and what are they? So let me take it from that perspective. So there's a couple of free pieces out there. You may already have them already, and that's good. But remember, free is only free to a certain degree. And if you're using the same cloud storage space for other content, then just know that you'll be absorbing and utilizing that storage space faster, because video files themselves are typically not created and compressed at the same time. So you have to keep that in mind. They tend to be quite large as far as megabyte size files. And the longer your video is in time, the larger your file is. So just always keep that in mind. A 3-minute video versus a 30-second video versus a 3-hour video, there's a difference in the size, the same as it is the length in and of itself, right? So you have that to keep in mind. So a couple of free places that you can use to store your videos. Remember, there's a difference between storing and sharing. Storing is just like that on your computer, on your hard drive, you're storing your files. This is just a cloud-based version of you being able to do the same thing. So some of the freebies that are out there, you have your Dropbox. Again, just go to dropbox.com. They too, there's a free version of that storage space that you have. And once you hit that max, they will politely invite you to pay for an upgraded version of it. So we want to keep that in mind. Just like your phones, once you have a store on your phone, usually many of us are using the Apple Cloud, for instance, if you have an iPhone, so that you have another alternative to storing your content on your phones in case anything happens to your phone. So, side note, if you're not backing up your phone and you got a lot of stuff on your phone, like your content list and your photos and your videos, anything happens to that phone, if you have not set up some type of an auto upload or backup mechanism, I don't even care if you wanted to use a physical device. I just had one on my desk a minute ago. Did it just disappear? Of course it did, because I'm looking for it. You can even buy physical card ones like jump drives, and you can back up your phone content on that as well. So that's just my special announcement on that. Okay. Now, so Dropbox is one. Again, it's free. It's easy to access, and you can get a larger version of it by getting their business version of that account. And that way, but again, the business version is the paid version. The freebie version is just Dropbox itself. So you have that. Another place where you're able to store your files is going to be over at Amazon Prime. Did you know that you can get free storage over there as well? And of course, if you are with the Amazon Prime account, let me just make that clear. It ain't free, but you got to sign up for Amazon Prime. But if you have Amazon Prime already, you already have some storage. You might not even know you have it and have access to it. So that is something else that you might want to check out and utilize just for your video, in fact. So remember, you can compartmentalize a lot of stuff. So if you've got Dropbox for your Word documents and things like that, and then you already are subscribing to Amazon Prime, then you might want to say, you know what, I'm gonna put all my video over on Amazon Prime, and that way you can kind of like divide and conquer. Then there's OneDrive that comes with your Microsoft Office or your Microsoft account with your OneDrive, so you can store video files there as well. Again, it's going to come up with a max capacity. I forget how much it is right now. Let me double check. I think with the OneDrive, it's like after the free version. Does it say? I'm trying to look at my notes. Did I? No, this is for the paid version. And paid version is not too bad. $9 a month is not too bad. But again, it depends. How much content are you creating? When you get to that point, don't worry. They're going to tell you if you max out on free stuff. So no worries right there. So you have that. So there's OneDrive that goes with your email account typically. So you have that level of storage there. The other one is Google. And so you can get your Google Drive just like you can use for your Google accounts and all those. And again, you will hit a max threshold as well. I personally subscribe to Google's Workspace, and that now comes with basically unlimited storage. But I'm paying for all of the suite of Google in a platform from a business perspective. And it's not that bad. I can't remember. Is it $16 a month? But it's hosting my email and everything else too. So there's that. So I do pay a premium for it. But the freebie version, just as good until you get to a point where you're going to need more. And then, so those are kind of your common ones for free drives. So you've got Dropbox, you've got Amazon Prime, and then you've got OneDrive and Google Drive. So as you're creating your content, as you're creating your video content, and you need a place to save and store it and download it, those are four free places that you can go. Now, let's talk about storing and sharing. So there's a difference in storing and sharing. When you're storing a file, for example, on the Google Drive, you can store that file there and you can share the link to get the file, but it's not the same as streaming. Like I share a short link from YouTube and you can play it automatically through YouTube. Those drives, like I just mentioned, your Dropbox, your Prime, your OneDrive, and your Google, is simply to share, as in to share, and someone else will have to open it up and give access to, but they'll have to play it in whatever player they happen to have on the device that they have. That's different than sharing from a streaming perspective. Streaming, again, meaning if I clicked on the YouTube drive, it's going to open up YouTube and I get to have it there in a sense. So there are some other options that you can think about that will be mindful, because for many of us, if you're creating video content, it's because you want to have it consumed by the people, your intended audience. Whether you're embedding it inside of some training materials or even on your website, a little different, but still the same. So you want to make sure that you have the proper places in mind. So with that said, sharing is more sharing to stream. So a couple of places or things to think about. Also, the fact is that these are also places where you can actually create that video content and they'll store it for you and they'll stream it for you all in one place, which is nice. Many of you may already be familiar with the platform Loom, Loom. And there is a great place. You can create your content. They have a free version. Okay, so there's a free version of Loom, and then there will store that free version again with the max cap, and then you can share that link and it will open up in the Loom platform on part of their cloud. So you have that as an option. So Loom freemium, meaning you get a free version and then you can upload to a bigger version and it will store your files. Plus you can upload your files there as well. So there's another benefit. If you have some pre-existing files, they'll store it as well if you want to. And you can edit. That's another nice thing, like I talked about before. Think about your features and your functions. Can I edit? Can I store? Can I stream? All these things kind of come into play. Now, Vimeo is another platform. There's the free version, and then there is the paid version. And even with Vimeo, let me make sure I look at my notes right. There's my sync. Oh, wait, that's not the wrong round. Okay. Did I do my Vimeo? Oh, my screen, it popped away. Okay. Vimeo is another option that you have where it too is a way, here's my Vimeo, for you to, he's wanting to take me to, hold on a second, guys. Okay, so here on the Vimeo website, you're hosting content on the platform so that you'll be able to do not only live stream it, but you can do your screen recording now, and you can create from templates, and you can store your content and manage it as well as to share it. So it has all the hosting capabilities as well. So you can share the link out and people will open up Vimeo and just be able to play it without having to have anything special on it. So they too have a start with a free version, kind of an option, and then you go to something that's more paid. And again, a lot of it is based on storage. So start wherever you're needing, but you can get something for as low as $7 a month and then go from there. Their basic plan, their basic plan is about $7 a month, and then you can kind of go from there. So Vimeo.com is one option. Another place, again, where you're able to host and store and share, stream, right, that content is Cloud App. Now, this one is the one that I just discovered, but I found it to be a great another option. And here's why. With the Cloud App, let me make sure I bring up my screen so I can, okay, there we go. They have a free version. It will house up to about a minute and 30 seconds. So it's really short, right? But again, you get what you pay for. So free is free. But if you go to cloudapp.com, this is another place, again, where you're able to host and record based on the length of your video itself. You can stream and you can share those files as well as store them. So there's some benefits when it comes to that. So again, it's all about your preferences and what you are looking for. But Cloud App is another option. And then there is, do I have another one? Wistia. Now here again, Wistia, you can create that content. Let me check my notes on that one real quick. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. So Wistia is very similar to Vimeo in the sense that it's going to be video hosting as well as an ability for you to do the recordings, not only to host it, almost kind of even do live streaming where you can have somebody come on. But again, storing it and having a player so that it's not sitting out on YouTube land, because there are a lot of, depending on where you're hosting and putting out this content, some places will not allow you to use YouTube, or you have to have it hosted, like truly hosted somewhere, and then you can share that link. And sometimes they won't accept YouTube. So I'm sharing this with you because they may hit some walls, and that might be one of them. But Wistia, Wistia.com, and they too have kind of a free version, right? But it's limited. And then you get like, I think, okay, Wistia is three free videos, right? And then you get one little channel. And then as you continue to grow, then obviously they're going to pop you up to something bigger. So there's options with respect to that. Wistia can be a bit on the pricey side. There's no, just keeping it real. Vimeo, not so much so. So you just have to kind of check out the different options that are out there. Because I think with Vimeo, it's like I said, $7 and $20, which is really not bad. Again, if you want to make sure that you're putting your content out there on safe spaces and places. Because one of the things that I hate more than anything is that when someone sends me a link or what's embedded inside of my webpage, a website, or inside of some content, and it's either stuck, logged, or I can't even access it. So if you're looking at creating video content so that it's going to be stored inside of your courses, online, or inside of PDF documents, whatever, you do want to make sure that it's going to be easily accessible and people will not have to go through hoops to access it. Because I'm going to tell you, folks are not going to break their neck to view your content when they can go someplace else and get it. So always want to keep that in mind. All righty. Well, that today, my friends, is what we have when it comes to, let me just make sure. When it comes to creating your content from a video perspective, where can you store it for free? Where can you store it and share it and stream share it for a freemium version are some of the options that you have before you. As always, this is another Biz Tip Tuesday. I am Dr. Yam, your Keep It Simple coach. You can visit me over at keepitsimplecoach.info. And you can also hang out with me and my entrepreneurs that are using content creations to help them grow their business over in Content Creation Tips and More Facebook group for solopreneurs, my freelancers, and my coaches, or anybody who wants to know a little bit more and grow. Type in smallbizsociety.com. Now, if you haven't launched your business just yet and you want to, maybe you're that busy 9 to 5er, I want to invite you to head on over to the Busy 9 to 5ers Hive. And it's over there where I help aspiring entrepreneurs create their escape route so that they can make the transition from employee, maybe just to the side gig, or go full hog and go to entrepreneurship with a little help from me, Dr. Yam. Until next time, please, let's get busy. Take care. Bye-bye.